Hey everybody, my name is Yyanthire. So I'm going to be switching gears completely. I'm actually going to be reworking the main menu in this blog. The current state of the main menu, as you can see here on the starting screen, we got a bunch of particle effects that you can click, and then you have all your standard options that you had in the 2D version of the game. I'd like to really rework these, kind of have maybe a disciple over here in its idle position, maybe the home in the background or something like that. Just make it look a lot more interesting, because right now it's just a flat image with some buttons on it, and it looks fairly boring. Alright, so let me get cracking on that. So here's the current setup of the scene. Of course, I want my main disciple right here front and center, so that's the first thing you're going to see. And then, of course, in the background, the boss of the demo, the apprentice dragon. I'll be probably messing with his model a little bit more, but for the time being, that's what he's looking like. As you can kind of see here, we got a bunch of trees and grass, and some mountains in the background, a big old moon here. And then, currently, I haven't changed anything with the actual main menu. I'll need to actually remodify this, so I'd like to do some new game here, do better buttons that are essentially left justified with, of course, the game's name logo somewhere on here. Just make it look a little bit nicer, but this is the current state of it. I'm going to need to do a lot of optimization. There's pretty much zero optimization in right now, and I'm just kind of mocking everything together. So let me play with it some more, but hopefully you like the current state of it. So this leads into the new model, the apprentice dragon. I set him up in the game just with his animations in place. As you can kind of see here, there's some artifacts and stuff I need to take care of, but for the most part, he's good to go. I can actually go ahead and have him move around. This texture is kind of subject to change. I kind of slapped something together and kind of thought it looks a little bit cool. It's a little aggressive, which I kind of like. I want him to be very visually impressive. As soon as you see him, it's like, oh, that's a bad guy. But as you can see, he's flying around. His attack animation is probably pretty awful to show off. Yeah, he does a spin right now, but it's way too fast. I'll have to actually slow that down. But his other cool animation is, of course, his death animation. Let's go ahead and kill him. And there he goes. He flies right to the ground. So as promised, I slowed down the animation so you can see it a little bit better. Let's go ahead and cast it. It's a big old somersault and then shoots the fireball. As you can see here, the disciple's also trying to cast it. You can see how slow and different the animations are. All the animation timings are really based off their animation itself, so I'll be tweaking it more and more, but this character definitely seems geared towards slower animation, so I'll make sure that plays into the actual design of the boss too. So give him a lot of slow attacks, but they'll probably just deal tons of damage or something like that. I'll mess with it when I get to it, but for the time being, happy with the animations and whatnot. And I think this is a complete model, so I, of course, fix those little artifacts, but it's not a big deal. Alright, so I did some additional reworking on the main menu. As you can see here, we have the original image from the 2D version of the game. And then as you can see here, I added some little blinking, click anywhere to begin text, and then we, of course, got the version in the bottom. When you click this, you click anywhere on the screen, because the entire screen is just a button right now. It's going to do a cool little fade out. Let's see that. Yeah, there we go. Now it fades into the cool little background we got going on here. I decided to take the dragon and just move him way in the background, so he's kind of ominously looking over everything. This is probably going to be the baseline of what the main menu is going to look like, so let me know how you guys like it, and if you like the original one with the dragon, or if you like this dragon back here. Alright, so I couldn't resist rigging up a little Easter egg. So in the main part of the game, you can press delete to kill one of your units. I thought it would be cool to incorporate that into the main menu as well, so if I were to press delete, the same cool little death animation, except a lot more closer up. You can actually see the mask falling down and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of sits here for a while. So let me go ahead, and the next main area I want to focus on is performance. So let's actually see. So I went and grabbed it and then changed my camera a little bit. But as you can see here, we're getting about 90 FPS with recording, but I believe I should be able to really heavily optimize this, because really you're just looking at this scene essentially. And so there's still pretty much the entire rest of the map that's already been created, because I grabbed this from the main map area. So let me go ahead and let's mess around with it. Let's see if we're starting to get above 90 FPS, because I definitely don't want you to be lagging in the main menu due to just tons of stuff being in there. Albeit it looks cool. I don't really want players just freezing up their game. Albeit it would be a good indicator to see if your computer can run the game just by opening up the main menu, which would be kind of hilarious, but I digress. So let me go ahead and let's mess around with it some more. Alright, so here we are in game, and as you can see, we're getting about over 100 FPS here with recording, so that's pretty big right there. But we're also in the editor, so as you know, the editor really chunks away your performance, and when we do a live build, it'll actually get a lot higher. Alright, so I reworked the buttons and also the transitions, so when I click here, it immediately transitions. You can actually start clicking on all the buttons. So here's what the main menu is going to look like. I need to do a bit more work on some of the extra stuff, but I kind of like this baseline for it, as you can see here. Didn't like the Fragment's Moonrise logo. I don't like how it's kind of covering up the dragon, but I think that's alright, so I'm not going to bother too much with it. But what I was saying about additional changes, if I click on changelog, for example, as you can see, we need to kind of rework this a little bit. It has all the old buttons and text and stuff like that. It doesn't look as good as the new updated text, so I'll mess with that some more. Alright, so this should finalize the changes. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. As you can see here, I did a little bit of adjustments on the buttons and all that kind of stuff. They're pretty big now, and I think that's pretty good, so you can just kind of see them, click them. Let's kind of go through here. We can kind of start at the bottom, so like credits, for example. Here's what it's looking like. Return, changelog, same thing. Just a lot more bold and easier to get to now. And then, of course, the loading panel. So let's go ahead and start a new game. Still getting the same tips and all that kind of stuff. Got loaded too quickly. I couldn't get to the next tip, but I'll need to rework the tips anyway. So I'll kind of play with that. But that should be it for the main menu. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think about it. I think it came along pretty nicely, and I think this is going to be a pretty cool looking main menu for when you're starting the game off. So let me know. And as far as this blog goes, that should be it. You guys take care.